All right. Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to the Last Guardian Standing podcast. I'm your host, 314 Fanatic, and today I'll be interviewing one of my clanmates and what they think of the stasis and its current role in the game after its nerf and the controversy revolving around the Destiny 1 returning raid Vault of Glass and the Day 1 World's First that comes along with it. Introducing you today, I have Captain Cat, one of my friends I play Destiny a lot with. How are you doing today, Captain? Nice. Good to hear. So how's your day going, sir?
Going good. Got a dog next to me.
Nice. All right, so I hope you're ready because we're about to talk about a lot of controversial things. And I know a lot of people who watch this may not agree with it, but I think it is an important thing to talk about because I'm passionate about this game. I'm sure you are as well, Captain.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, let's get right into it. So the first question is, so after the stasis nerf in Destiny, how do you think it is complementing the current PvP sandbox?
I think that things are not super balanced yet. I think that Warlocks need their stasis ability need a nerf a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Hunters probably would need. I think Hunters should get their 2 Shuriken freeze back.
Okay.
And then,
interesting. Yeah, a lot of people have been saying that because the Shurikens did do a lot of damage on top of freezing, which a lot of people saw as like unnecessary because, you know, like why do you need to freeze them if they're already dead? Because each Shuriken, I believe, did 93 damage. I think 93, right? I think it's 93, but. Yeah, that's definitely an interesting take on that. So is there anything else you'd like to add on to that? Because I know there are a lot of things that people would like to hear.
yeah, no, I think it's fine. From that, I mean, maybe what you could do is just take down damage and just make it so it freezes, and then now you don't have to worry about, well, I'm already dead. What's the point?
Yeah, understand. Well, that's an interesting take. Like I think they did a great job for the most part. I mean, Warlocks do have a little bit of excessive tracking, so I think maybe nerfing that a little bit will kind of help the PvP sandbox and experience in Crucible. Yeah, so I think most of the nerfs were pretty in medias. They were really good. So. And I think Trials has been a great experience, too, with that. But that'll be for another podcast. With that being said, how do you think they can adjust light-based subclasses to be, you know, a little bit more powerful or as powerful as well? Because Stasis is still a very powerful aspect in Destiny 2. So what do you think is the best way to give Solar Arc and Void more viability throughout the Crucible playlist?
All right. Well, I'll say this: I love Arcstrider. It's my favorite class.
Yeah, definitely.
It's awesome. But to be fair, it is a little overpowered. Your Arcstrider can deflect silence and squalls and make it basically your own without having to have silence and squall on.
Yeah, that's really overpowered. Yeah.
It can. I don't think it stops Chaos Reach. I've tested it out a couple times, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't. That would be kind of interesting to see. Continue. Sorry about that.
Nah, that's cool. It really is just able to stop everything. I think that, so for Arcstrider, it definitely needs a nerf. So what we could do for it is something like, well, you take silence and squall, so it will just stop the silence and squall from activating for 3 or 4 seconds, so the Arcstrider can get away.
Definitely.
And then for Tether, same thing. And then maybe you will have like a block timer, like you can't block after doing, like maybe stopping these projectiles or something like that.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely a good incentivization for that subclass. I totally agree with that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then I think. Go on.
Oh no, sorry.
Okay. I think that Titan's Thunder Crash needs a nerf to AoE. It's too large of an area.
Yeah, I can see that because, like, I know that it's more of a PvE oriented thing now because it has so much use in strikes and especially Gambit because the Cuirass of the Falling Star, which just allows it to do unheard amounts of damage for that super. And if you have like 4 Titans in Gambit, you can literally win every single Gambit match when you defeat the Primeval. Yeah, honestly, 1 and then like maybe a Chaos Reach and a Tether with a Stasis, Silence and Squall. Yeah, that's definitely a bit OP. But I think nerfing the AoE and maybe the damage on that just a little bit because like. I mean, you're not going up against 4 stacks a lot in Gambit anyways, but it can be kind of annoying. So yeah, especially in Crucible when like, you're flying through the air like Superman and you just hit somebody in the air and it doesn't like stop you. And I know that's not part of the super, but like the AoE, if you get it right on the spot, you can get a 7th column pretty consistently. It's still hard to do that, but yeah, I think just a slight nerf. Not nerf it in the ground, but just an adjustment, I would say, rather than a nerf.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think Warlock's Nova Warp needs a buff to its speed and resilience.
Speed, yeah, definitely. I agree. Basically with like the speed, I think like the speed in which it like teleports when you hit that button, whatever you use your on your controller or your keyboard, it's fast, but it uses a lot of super energy, so it's not very efficient. But if you're like really good and skilled with it, and that's like a thing you main basically, it can be pretty easy to use. But for most people, it's not, because we all remember in Forsaken, that was disgusting. Like pre-nerf was disgusting.
It was scary.
It was scary to play against. But now it's just like an absolute dog water subclass.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think giving a little bit more resilience and a little bit more time to be a roaming super, because if you miss like a Nova Warp, like if you miss like an explosion or whatever, you know how he does like he holds like the Nova Bomb in his hands and he like explodes it. I think if you miss that, your super's out. Like if you hold it for a long time, like the longer you hold it, the larger the blast radius. It just needs a little bit of a buff, I think, and it'll be a little bit more viable in the Crucible playlist. So yeah, are there any more thoughts you have on the light-based subclasses?
I think Spectre Blades need a buff to their resilience as well.
Yeah.
I've had too many times where I'm just running around and then I get completely crapped on by other players not in supers. Yeah,
that's a very good change to that, I think. Yeah. Is there anything else?
Solar,
oh yeah, solar. Sorry, sorry about that.
Nah, that's cool. For solar, Blade Barrage, I think needs a little bit of a buff.
Enough, bro?
Yes.
What are you nuffing, bro? Yeah, enough. All right, go on. Sorry.
Blade Barrage needs a buff, in my opinion. Maybe it's a buff to the target acquisition of like knife trick.
Yeah.
The 3 knives.
Definitely.
And
it's 3 knives? The Blade Barrage is 3 knives?
The ability.
Oh, knife trick. Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then the super itself, I can see that. I'd say that.
Yeah, I think like, cause it is hard to get like if you get stuck with one of the explosive knives on the Blade Barrage when it like does the little spinning effect and then it throws it. like I feel like every time I don't really get killed by that super as much anymore because like stasis came in the game with Beyond Light, but I just think it needs a little bit of a buff, right?
Yeah.
Because like a super should be
Everyone's
able
solo
to one-hit
supers.
kill. A super should be able to one-hit kill, especially a light-based subclass. With stasis, you can just freeze everybody, and then you either slide through them, or a tornado kills you, or a wizard staff blast kills you. But yeah, I think that's definitely a good change. Just having a little bit more target acquisition on those knives. Not necessarily tracking, but target acquisition. Yeah, I think that's a great change. Yep.
Dawnblade needs resilience buff, definitely.
Oh yeah. I mean, its mobility is great, but I think resilience.
Oh,
yeah. And I mean, you're gonna get one shot out of your super every once in a while. Snipers, skillful people who are really good with snipers and Crucible. Sometimes they just get the best of you. And that's how it works out. But yeah, resilience, you can melt them pretty fast with like 600 RPMs. But I mean, unless you have like some damage resistant mod, I don't think it's that much of a problem. But I think that's mostly for newer players, honestly, because like they don't know a lot about the game, and I think that like buff to resilience will kind of like help them out a little bit if they're playing Warlock, especially top tree Dawnblade.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that'll
Even
help
like
out
old
a lot.
players as well. Like
Yeah,
I
I
play
mean,
Warlock every once in a while.
they'll know more about that, but I think that's a good change that we can look at and try to get it fixed in the game.
Yeah. And then the only other thing I'd say we could do is maybe slightly nerf the Burning Maul fire tornado tracking.
Oh yeah, I do agree with that. I mean, if you are out in the open, it is a lot easier. But if you're sitting right on the edge of a 90-degree like corner, like on some of those like maps that have like a lot of rectangular and like square like geometry, I think maybe you should die because you like literally are standing right in the fire. But if you're like, let's say 10 meters behind a corner and some Titan just smashes his hammer down and then the fire tracks all the way around, that's a bit too excessive. So there's kind of a perfect medium to where that can track, because I think supers deserve some tracking to some extent, but definitely not that. It kind of goes along with the stasis Warlock. It just needs to be toned down a little bit.
Sorry, I had to do something.
No, I took the dog out. She went poop.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, it's like basically the nerfer would be like the stasis Warlock, where the tracking just needs to be toned down a little bit, because I think tracking would be okay on subclass or on most supers, but there's a certain extent to which it can go. It's not supposed to be like ultra tracking Eyes of Tomorrow, but yeah, that's what I think on that subclass.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Any more thoughts on the
Nope,
light
that's
base? Nope. Okay, so kind of to rehash the first question, in regards to stasis, would you like anything readjusted, or have the stasis nerfs been accompanying for your Crucible experience?
Honestly, to think of it, the only other thing I do for nerfing stasis is I would nerf stasis Titan slide.
Titan slide.
Like maybe
Okay.
maybe nerf the distance by like 15 to 30%.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting, because I think with that, it's like, say you have a Titan, stasis Titan, sliding around the corner, and then I don't know what the aspect is called because I only play Hunter and Warlock, but it's like where he throws his fists up and like the ice kind of shoots out in a little like step thing. I don't know. It's like a little glacier grenade, but like it freezes him pretty easily. Yeah, I think that could definitely be toned down a little bit, but Also, I don't think it'll matter as much because, we got the quick draw nerfs with the shotguns, and, obviously, you can still shotgun rush with, like, sliding stasis titans, but yeah, I think there needs to be a slight nerf there.
Oh, you know what I'm seeing probably going to come around? They're going to probably put on Antaeus wards with stasis and a shotgun.
Oh no! Don't even encourage that, bro. Don't even encourage that. We don't need Antaeus Ward's trouble again. We don't need that. Is there anything else you would like to talk about on the basis of that question?
No, that's my thoughts. That's it.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. On to our next question, and we're gonna be switching topics for you guys who are watching. Over to next season stuff, mostly just VoG, Vault of Glass returning, and topics within that. So, since VoG is coming back next season in season 14, what will be your expectations for the nostalgic raid, and what weapons would you like to see make a Destiny 2 debut?
My expectations, I know I'm doing this, but I just really want to see them like refresh the raid in some way. I played some D1 and I didn't get too far into it. I played like the first encounter of the raid.
Yeah, that's good. It's okay. I've only had like one completion and maybe one on like I think they had a master version during like the Age of Triumph, but
maybe.
Yeah, maybe, but yeah. Continue. Sorry.
No, that's cool. Honestly, I think that they should bring back all the weapons, Fatebringer, everything. Cause you know what, Fatebringer won't be too much of a problem. One, you got to get a good roll on it, cause it's random rolls.
Yeah.
And you got other weapons out there that you can combat it with.
Totally.
I don't know what RPM is gonna come back as.
Yeah.
I never had the gun.
It might have been a 120 or a 140. I can't remember. I know I have like the Adept version of it in Destiny 1 on my Xbox. So like what I know there's actually 8 weapons, like legendary weapons, excluding Vex Mythoclast, because that's the raid exotic. What are your thoughts on that actually, Vex Mythoclast? Should it be like a quest, or should it be more of like RNG chances at the end of the raid?
You know what? I think it might be better. I mean, some people are gonna want it the way it was in D1, and then others I won't care. I think it would be cool to have something like Divinity again, where you have a quest to get it.
Yeah. Like some
cool.
puzzles. Yeah, that's an interesting aspect to it. I think, because the drop rates, I never got it. So, and I only did the raid twice, but. I think that'd be a good way. Make the quest somewhat difficult, because the Divinity quest is like, I know there's a lot of people who have different opinions on it, but getting like an LFG together, especially as maybe you're a solo player trying to do it, is really difficult. And I think if we can just make it like, challenging to an extent where it's doable, but also gives you that sense of like, hey, I earned this because this was challenging. Or they could just increase the drop rates slightly, and I think it would be fine. Make it like a really rare drop, not like bottom dollar. Since it's an exotic, it'd probably be rarer than bottom dollar, but yeah, that's what I think they should do with Vex Mythoclast. So, do you have anything to suggest on that? Because I know everybody has a lot of different opinions when it comes to that exotic.
No, I don't think so. I think it should be fine. If you increase drop rate and stuff. Maybe slightly. Yeah. Definitely not have the 1K system where you said they're trying to farm chests, because that's a pain.
Oh yeah, definitely. Also, big question: pre-nerf or post-nerf Vex Mythoclast? Which one do you prefer, and which one do you think they'll bring back? Or do you think they'll change the exotic perk on it?
Knowing Bungie, they're going to change the perk. They did it with all the guns that came back so far, I think, except for a few.
Okay, okay. What about its like auto rifle like functioning kind of? You know what I mean? Like how it functions, kind of like an auto rifle. I
We got full
think,
auto trigger system, right?
yeah, kind of like that. Do you think it'll have that? Like, do you think it'll be like like shoot like an automatic weapon?
Well, probably if it will, it's just gonna have the perk full auto trigger system. And
Yeah.
if that's what it was like in D1, I never had it.
Yeah, they might tone down the damage just a bit because people might complain if that's too powerful and it like has a very rare drop rate. So yeah, that's definitely a thing to consider with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about? The weapons? Any more weapons you'd like to come back? Because I know Fatebringer you said, but I also would like Atheon's Epilogue. I just like that auto rifle. I know it wasn't like the absolute meta, and I would like the Vision of Confluence because I was a big scout rifle guy in Destiny 1. And scout rifles are actually pretty good. Well, Dead Man's Tale is really good because you got the hip fire and it has like no accuracy penalties. But yeah, are there any legendary weapons you'd like to come back?
No, not from the raid.
No.
Or I want them all, but
Yeah.
want them all back, but nothing else really.
Yeah, definitely,
That's-
definitely. Sounds good. All right, next question. This is a big one. In its return, Vault of Glass speaking, obviously, we have learned that Bungie is allowing it to come with a day one world's first race. Along with the raid that has already had its debut, some in the Destiny community are calling it the world's second race. So how do you think it will go with the community on raid day and kind of like a few weeks leading up before that, if like Bungie drops a TWAB and are like, okay, this is what we're going to do and this is how we're going to show you to do it. I mean, obviously they wouldn't show you how to do the raid because that would be stupid. But they're probably going to go into detail on the challenges a little bit, so people kind of know what to expect without spoiling it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on like world second, basically, as what people are calling it, world second? I don't know. I don't really care about it much, but what do you think?
I think it's really just gonna go the same way as every other world's first raid, except for you got the challenges, the extra step because it's an old raid.
Yeah.
And for it being called world second is more for player convenience.
Player convenience,
I'd say.
definitely, yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that like your kind of overall view on that?
Yeah, I think it'll go the same, but then you got the triumphs that are gonna add a new challenge to it. You got now you gotta complete all this in a short amount of time, and just another aspect to the puzzle.
Yeah. Also, with the like triumphs and challenges that they're gonna put in Vault of Glass next season, I think it's really interesting to bring up that like this is the world's first like raid in a non-DLC season since the summer of 2019 with Season of Opulence. And I think that's really special because I know Bungie's been working really hard in that kind of thing. But like it's really interesting because I think they might release the raid pretty early, considering that the power cap will only be plus 10 light levels above where you're like max level for this season, which makes a statement. Will they make us do a lot of bounty grinding, or will it just be at that max cap? So what are your thoughts on that? What do you think will be like the release date of the raid, and what light level or how many light levels above that 10 max cap do you think it'll be?
It will probably be some like I think it will release 2 weeks after the launch of the DLC, and then
Yeah, the season. Okay. Yeah.
just like every other raid that's come out so far, mostly, and then probably light wise it'll be 20 over,
20 over.
maybe.
Okay. I can see that.
And then
I'm not even 20 yet, and I know I was like on a month and a half hiatus from Destiny, but I think 20 is a bit extreme because I'm only like plus 17, and I played a good amount of Destiny this season, but I think maybe like plus 5 is reasonable because we have the seasonal challenges, which can give you at least one tier in like the first week. You know how like they have like the 4 times XP, the 2 times XP. That might be able to boost people up, plus like shared wisdom, but people don't really care about that anymore as much as they used to when the bonus light level system came out. But yeah, I think maybe plus 5 honestly would be a good, like plus 5 from that 10 that you have to get in order to get to the max light. So that's kind of like my perspective on it.
But then you wouldn't even need to level up. I think maybe plus 15 or 10. Because then
on top of 10, like on top of the max 10.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Because then like it's not like I got the max light and I don't have to do anything else now. I can just go in the raid and because it's only 5 light up,
Oh, you mean from the 10 that I was taught, like from the 10 max
base? Yeah, 10.
Okay.
Base.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
That way, like,
yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Sorry, you can go.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So that way it's like, all right, now I actually have to work for it, and not instead of like, well, it's only 5 light up, I'll be fine.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. And maybe they do a thing. They're probably gonna do this anyways, but they're gonna have challenge mode on, or contest modifier day 1, where you're like, I believe when I did it for Deepstone Crypt, it was about 20 light above, and it kept going up. Or no, it was 10 light above the first encounter, like 15 the next, 20, and so on. But I think they're probably gonna do that. My one hope is though, Bungie, don't add champion wyverns. I don't care if they're anti-barrier. I don't care if they're overload. I don't care if they're unstoppable. You can put wyverns in there. Don't put champion wyverns in there. If you want to put champions in there, put champion praetorians. Those are less annoying. They still suck, but they're less annoying. Yeah, so I think that would be interesting for that with the whole light level and like the wyverns. Speaking of wyverns, I want to talk about some of like the mechanical things in the raid that could or may stay the same. What are your thoughts on that? Because I know you haven't really done the raid that much, but what do you think they might change? Like what part of Destiny 2 will they infuse with the Destiny 1 raid?
Well, they might add another encounter to think of it.
Yeah.
Maybe like a jumping puzzle in it. If they're
there is kind of one with the disappearing plates, but you mean like an extra one on top of that, basically? Maybe. Okay. All right.
Or some other extra encounter, or some extra thing you could do with it.
Yeah. Any new bosses? Because they did say it would be part of the season story. So they could add a new boss, because the first time in Destiny 1 we defeated them. Or we defeated them. We defeated them, right. We defeated Atheon. But like, what do you think they'll add any new bosses?
Well, depends what next season's about. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Probably something Vex related.
Oh yeah, it's totally Vex related. Like it's 110%. Because I feel like the seasons leading up to Witch Queen is going to be making alliances, fighting enemies and keeping them off our backs kind of deal. Learning more about, the darkness with like exclusive missions and stuff like that. Especially like with the Presage mission where we learned that Callus, let's say, tried to buy Beyond Light and get stasis and didn't quite work out for him so well. So I think that's what's gonna be like the compilation of all those seasons leading up to Witch Queen. Yeah, so I think that's kind of like the main thing to look at.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so
definitely.
as well.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about the raid? Just anything really, weapons, mechanics, thoughts, controversy, anything like that.
It might add new armor into it.
Oh
as well,
yeah,
as
they could add
like
new armor. That would be dope. That would be super
like
cool.
how they did with Prophecy. They added back the old Trials of the Nine armor along with new.
The Dido armor. I think it's the Dido armor.
Yeah,
Right?
Dido
Yeah,
and Moonfang.
Dido. That kind of on a side note, it's kind of unrelated to what we're talking about, but I wish in Prophecy they actually did add like the Trials of the Nine weapons back. Because
that'd be cool.
even though the weapons weren't like insane, they were pretty good, especially for their time in like
yeah.
early D2.
See, they missed an opportunity. There you go. Trials of the
Exactly.
Nine weapons.
You know what? Maybe they'll add them. You know.
That would be cool.
Because Prophecy is still a pretty fun activity. I like going through it. Yeah, so kind of moving on to the next thing, and this is kind of related to what we've been talking about. What are you looking towards for the rest of the season? So season 13 and season 14 excluding VoG. So that means without VoG, because we just discussed VoG basically. So
yeah. I think for the rest of this season, I actually there's supposed to be, I heard that there's an end of season event.
Oh, for this season?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah, it's on the roadmap, isn't it? It's on the roadmap. It says and more, and it said like a closing event with Guardian Games on was it May 9th? And I believe that's like the Friday before the reset of the next season, right?
Maybe?
Yeah, May 9th. May 9th. Wait, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, Saturday. It would be Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah. Yeah, so they probably have a live event, because you know how they did the Almighty thing on like, I think it was either Friday or Saturday, but it was like the weekend before Season 11 or Season of Arrival started.
Yeah.
I think it's going to have to do with something with the Vex, maybe kind of closing out the storyline with Kaido and the Traders, even though we already did that, because if you heard the audio log in the Helm, she actually, I believe she did kill the sniper who tried to take out Zavala and Crow.
Wait a minute. Wait, so didn't the sniper hit Zavala's ghost?
Yes, but so it was actually a light suppressing device, you know, the one in the Red War that they used on the Traveler.
Oh, okay.
That's basically what they used on the Ghost, so he couldn't be revived for that amount of time. And that one Scion who had like the blade that Kaido used to like sign the armistice a bit, basically. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think that's concluded, but I think we'll get a little bit of closure. We might see a cutscene with Kaido at the end, and we might like get a confrontation with the Vex. So I think that's where we're going into the end of Season 13. I mean, obviously we have Guardian Games, but that's like, I don't know, maybe we'll get some cool cutscenes during Guardian Games. Hopefully we do. So.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. You know what would also be cool? If they brought like all the Kaido ships over to
the tower,
the Lost City.
Yeah, that would be
awesome.
That might be a little bit threatening, I think, to people of the tower, but that's kind of off topic. So following up with like the live event, what do you think? What do you think we're gonna get in Season 14 besides VoG, obviously?
Well, transmog, that's one thing I'm looking
Oh
forward
yes, dude, I am ready for that, bro. I hate buying ornaments, and I know like they have to make money somehow, but buying ornaments is freaking annoying, especially when they can be on rotation sometimes, and there's only a limited amount of them most of the times.
Yeah,
it's kind of sucks. But now I believe you will be able to have like the Trials armor set. Say you have like one piece of the Trials armor set, and you'll be able to make that look like another piece of armor that's maybe your better stat rolled piece of armor. So that's kind of an interesting thing to do, and I think a lot of people love transmog. It's 110% community approved. And then I believe with that, we are getting like the return of Arms Day per se with Banshee 44, and he will be selling, I believe it's 5 weapons, maybe 6, 5. It's probably 5. Yeah, 5 weapons. And so I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Sorry, I'm talking a little bit too much. What are your thoughts on like the new Arms Days?
I think that's gonna be great. Now, wow, birds. Now Banshee's a little more used to trying to get mods from him and just opening engrams that drop below light.
Yeah, definitely. Well, sorry, continue. I was trying to take the show from you there.
Yeah, that's cool. Your show, anyways. I mean, now you don't have to sit here and be like, well, I mean, I got everything. What's the point of point of turning in gunsmith materials?
Yeah.
Don't need it.
Definitely. I also think like endlessly turning in materials is boring as heck, and sometimes your RNG can be absolute dog water or like really god roll tier, S+ tier, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I think Arms Day, especially for like new players or players returning for the season 14 because of VoG, like they're like D1 veterans and maybe they stop playing like a little bit after Beyond Light because they're like, Season of the Hunt's not very good, which it really wasn't that great. I mean, Beyond Light was great, but I can understand the lack of seasonal content. Anyways, it kind of gives like a new breath. And players, like, especially new lights, they're like, wow, I can get these cool legendary weapons if I have enough gunsmith materials. And they're like, oh, I can get gunsmith materials from dismantling stuff I don't need, maybe. Like, that's the kind of thing that really lets people play. And I don't know if they're going to do random rolls with it or what, but I think that's a great way to incentivize players coming back to the game, but more importantly, players finding the weapons they need for certain activities, whether it's Crucible, PvE, Gambit, anything.
I totally agree. Now, I have buddies of mine who stopped playing, and they're just like, well, there's no point. It's sunsetting. All my guns I love using that I've earned and worked my butt off for, I can't use anymore. Now, I talked to them, and they're like, yeah, I'm definitely coming back next season. I will grind out to get up to max light. And now I can just every season play a little and then have fun the rest. And, not have to worry about finding new weapons for the next couple seasons.
Totally. Oh, looks like we got some comments in the chat here. Snipey's Noob says hello, and he says, need some tips for my YouTube channel. Snipey, first of all, thank you for watching the stream. Second of all, tips for your YouTube. Be original, be consistent, have a schedule, make what your content's going to be about, plan it out, and follow through with it. Use things like Twitter, Instagram to push your channel out into the greater community. If you're doing Destiny, whatever, Outriders, doesn't matter. Just use some kind of vessel for that. And those are like the top like 4 or 5 tips I can give you. But I appreciate you joining the stream. That's a big one, man. So yeah, I'm gonna continue talking back to my clanmate. And if you need anything, just DM me on Twitter, 314Fanatic. All right, Jack. Let's get back to it. I know that should be the end of the segmented questions, anyways. But what are like other things you want to talk about? We can talk about anything. Obviously it has to be Destiny related because that would kind of defeat the whole purpose. But
now let's just talk about Bungie's new game that's coming.
Oh, okay.
I don't know anything about it. I was just
so I'm not quite sure, but there's like 2 new IPs. And
is there?
I think there's 2 new IPs. At least there was one like that was hinting towards like in parallel with Destiny, and I think people were confusing this because it was translated from like I think it was like a Japanese article, but it said that Destiny will have a game in parallel with it.
Yeah, I heard that.
And basically, I think that just means they'll have a game parallel to Destiny. Like, they'll have Destiny out in, like, whatever their new IP is, or Matter, if that's... Because, like, that's been a big thing that people have been talking about. Hopefully, once Destiny reaches the end of its lifespan... Obviously, I don't want it to reach the end of its lifespan because I love the game so much. Yeah, I think it's, like... I think it's interesting what they're doing. And I was reading an article, actually. It's a new one. I don't remember where it's from. But it said that Destiny 3 won't be a thing till like way, like almost 2030, actually, the year 2030. You know, and I just don't know. Like, there's so much stuff in the future that it depends on, like, the health of the game. And I think the changes they're making, especially with the whole Light and Darkness saga and the state of the game, is really a good thing that they're stating now, because we'd like to know a lot into the future, but not too much. So give your thoughts on that. And then I'm going to answer this. Snipey is asking me for some more Destiny 2 and how to make it interesting. He says, my views are perishing by the day. Please tell me what to do. Snipey, I will get to you in just a second. Let Captain Cat answer real quick, and I will be right with you. Okay? All right, Jack, so what do you think? Just about the future of Destiny, you know, beyond Witch Queen. Obviously, we have a good idea what Witch Queen's going to be about, but, yeah.
Well, we got the next 2 seasons, and then the season after that. And that's just supposed to be the first saga. So,
yeah.
And that's probably going to take us up to 2025.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because they did say they were adding another expansion onto Lightfall to complete the Light and Darkness saga. Yeah, I think that's the best we can really hope for. And I mean, when they said Light and Darkness saga, I was like, holy crap.
Like, first chapter in the book.
I was like, you realize I was thinking in my head, I was talking to Bungie rhetorically, and I was thinking, like, you guys do know that you have a game that's been going on for literally, theoretically, after Lightfall would be like 12 years, I think, right? No, 10 years. No, hold on. Yeah, 10 years, because 2024 is when, like, after Lightfall release, right? The next release after Lightfall. And I'm like, you're going to make another saga? I'm like, holy crap. And there have been leaks where, and I'm not going to be like, oh, yeah, that's totally true. But take this with a grain of salt. Apparently, the next saga is called the Alpha Centauri saga, which is a solar system, like in real life, actually, that has life-sustaining planets. But people are having, like, controversy about this because they're like, oh, Alpha Centauri, isn't that what the Traveler is referred to in the lore? So there's a lot of, like, back and forth with the community in that. But I just think it's cool that leaks are, like, shared in the community. And it's, like, kind of an interesting thing to think about. It gets you kind of hyped up mentally, you know? Like, wow, I'm really looking forward to this, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if there's much we can talk about it except just speculate. But, yeah, I think that's the best thing we can do is just have caustic. Be optimistically cautious about it, you know, and just hope for the best, you know. So prepare for the worst, hope for the best, kind of thing. Not always, but most of the time.
Definitely.
Yeah. So Snipey, basically, if you want people to be interested in your stuff, make sure you're making your thumbnails, putting good time into that, making your titles searchable, because if it's not searchable and it's really long, or it's just really, like, not something to search up, people will search up often, you know, it might not come up in the YouTube directory. I don't think that's what it's called, but yeah, it's a tough process, man. I only have like 44 subscribers, so it's a difficult business to get into. And just be original. Do streams, do videos, maybe do like informational videos, right? Help people out with the game. Yeah, exactly. Try to allocate, as Solar Flare said, try to allocate wider audiences and play the algorithm, It's a tough algorithm. Just do your best, man. It's really hard, I started doing this during Destiny 2. Only have 44 subscribers. I wasn't consistent a lot, and now I'm getting back into it. Consistency is key, man. Trust me. The more you make, I can understand that. Quitting D2 is, I had to do that for a little bit too. If you need the break, then just take the break from it. You don't do it if you think you have to do it. Do it because you love it. That's the best advice I can give, man. Yeah, sometimes, it's better for your mental health. It can be daunting on you, especially editing videos is tough and that kind of deal. So just, if you always want to come on and check out my stream, that's cool. DM me on Twitter, 314Fanatic, Instagram, 314Fanatic. Just enjoy the stream. Enjoy your time just playing Destiny. You don't have to do YouTube. So, yeah. Hope you've been enjoying the stream so far. But that's all the best advice I can give you, man. And if you do continue to pursue it, man, good luck. Hope for the best, man. All right. Are you wanting to talk about anything else super imperative right now? Or do you think we're good for today?
There's not much else we could really talk about in the first place. We talked about everything, really.
Yeah, I think we went over a lot of important topics. Are you Fickrel? Fickrel. Oh, isn't that's Fanatic. The Fanatic. Ah, yes. That actually is. Yes. That actually is why my name is that, because I wanted to make it Destiny based. So, yeah, the Scorn, yep. Yeah, I totally remember that, man. That was it, man. I was like, that's a cool logo, and I was like, hey, 314 Fanatic, Dead Thing, yeah, and Dead Thing for sure, man.
We could talk about trials.
Yeah, you know what? Let's save that for another day. I enjoyed having you on the podcast. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Snipey, bro. Appreciate the sub, man. Make sure to comment in the comment section on future topics I should cover anything you want the community to hear, even though there's only like 4 people watching, but that's okay. It's a process. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I will save trials. I will save trials for you, Elijah. You will be on the show next time, along with Jack, too. Maybe with Scott, too, because he plays a lot of that as well. So for those who are watching, Snipey, Solar, anybody else, I appreciate it. Captain Cat, thank you for joining us today. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, no problem.
And always remember, Guardians, make sure you're not the last Guardian standing. All right, 314 Fanatic, signing out.